You have been breathing your whole life, yet most breaths never touch the system that calms your heart, settles your gut, and steadies your mind. You have been doing breath wrong for the nervous system. Here is what the yogis do. In the next few minutes, you will learn a single breathing method that increases vagal influence, stabilizes heart rhythms, and channels prana with precision. We will map Western science to yogi science, then practice the complete breath so you can feel the change today. Why prana meets the vagus? 2 systems, 1 circuit. The nervous system of man may be divided for clarity into voluntary and involuntary domains. Western science calls the latter the autonomic nervous system, with sympathetic and parasympathetic branches. The principal parasympathetic conduit from brain to viscera is known as the vagus nerve. Yogi science teaches that prana is the vital energy that animates tissue and coordinates function. It will be noticed that where Western science sees signaling, yogi science sees energy distribution. The circuit is one, though the languages differ. Western science locates vagal origins in the brainstem. 3 nuclei are central. The nucleus ambiguus provides fast, myelinated fibers to the sinoatrial node of the heart. These fibers slow heart rate on the timescale of a single breath. The dorsal motor nucleus supplies slower, unmyelinated fibers to thoracic and abdominal organs, modulating digestion, pancreatic secretion, and hepatic tone. The solitary tract nucleus receives afferent information through baroreceptors and stretch receptors. This sensory stream conveys pressure and expansion data to the brainstem, which adjusts output. The loop is continuous sensation, integration, efferent control. Yogi science names the same loop as prana: inhaled, retained, and distributed. Breath is not mere gas exchange. It is the pump that moves prana through channels called nadis. The diaphragm may be likened to a piston. As it descends, abdominal pressure rises, venous return improves, and the baroreceptors in the great vessels detect the change. As it ascends, the pressure releases, and the oscillation continues. Western science calls the heart rhythm change respiratory sinus arrhythmia, a marker of vagal tone. Yogi science calls the same wave the intelligent rhythm of prana. Before proceeding further, the common error must be stated. High breathing, which elevates the shoulders and crowds the upper chest, stimulates accessory muscles, wastes energy, and underutilizes the diaphragm. The result is shallow signaling to the vagus, poor baroreflex engagement, and a mind that will not settle. Mid-breathing expands the ribs, yet often neglects the abdominal piston. Low breathing expands the belly but may ignore upper lobes and rib mechanics. Yogi science teaches that the complete breath integrates all 3, thereby filling the lungs, activating the respiratory muscles properly, and producing rhythmic internal massage of the viscera. Western science measures the result as heart rate variability. More precisely, the coherence of the oscillation between breath and beat reflects baroreflex sensitivity. When this reflex is engaged, the brainstem senses pressure change quickly and adjusts vagal output to the heart. The rhythm steadies. The organism interprets this as safety. The yogi would say prana is evenly distributed and the ego is quieted. 2 systems, 1 circuit. The names are different. The effects are the same. The Yogi Complete Breath. Mechanics that drive vagal tone. The Yogi Complete Breath includes the advantageous features of high, mid, and low breathing while avoiding their defects. It brings into action the diaphragm, the intercostal muscles, the abdominal wall, and the upper chest lift at the end. The mechanism is simple to state and exact in effect. Begin with posture. Stand or sit erect. The sternum is buoyant but not rigid. The shoulders rest. The jaw is unclenched. The tongue rests on the palate. This arrangement opens the airway, and allows the ribs to move freely. Yogi science teaches that form precedes flow. Western science agrees that thoracic mechanics shape intrathoracic pressure, and pressure changes drive venous return and baroreceptor signaling. Inhale through the nostrils in one continuous, smooth wave. First, lower the diaphragm. It will be noticed that the abdomen moves gently forward as the dome descends. This is not a forced belly thrust. It is the natural accommodation to the piston. Second, expand the lower ribs outward. The intercostal muscles act as levers. This widens the chest at its midsection, increasing lung volume and distributing air to regions that often remain idle. Third, allow the upper chest to rise slightly, elevating the upper ribs and opening the apex of the lungs. Do not shrug the shoulders. Finish with a delicate lift that admits air to the smaller upper lobes. At first reading, these may appear as 3 separate acts. In practice, they are one continuous act. The complete breath is a seamless expansion from base to apex. The exhalation follows the reverse path. Hold the chest steady for a brief moment, then exhale slowly and evenly. The abdomen draws inward slightly to support the diaphragm's ascent. The lower ribs move inward as the intercostals relax. The upper chest settles without collapse. When the air is expelled, relax the abdomen and chest completely before the next cycle. Why this sequence matters is not mystical. The descending diaphragm compresses abdominal organs and increases pressure within the abdominal cavity. This action massages the liver, stomach, and intestines. It assists venous return through the inferior vena cava. The heart receives blood more efficiently, which the baroreceptors sense. The brainstem responds by adjusting vagal output. The heart rate slows on the exhale and quickens slightly on the inhale. This rhythm, known to Western science as respiratory sinus arrhythmia, is the physiological signature of parasympathetic influence. The rib expansion adds another lever. When the ribs are moved outward, the chest cavity expands laterally. This improves alveolar recruitment in regions that may be underventilated by shallow patterns. More alveoli participating means better gas exchange and a more even distribution of mechanical stretch. Stretch receptors in the lungs send afferent signals through the vagus to the solitary tract nucleus. The brainstem interprets this as adequate ventilation and reduces the drive to overbreathe. Calm spreads through the system. Yogi science would say, the nadis are free, and prana flows without obstruction. Elevating the upper chest at the end is often neglected, yet it serves a purpose. The apex of the lungs has smaller, gravity-affected regions that may receive less air in quiet breathing. A gentle final lift opens these spaces without strain. Some yogis occasionally add a slight collarbone rise to ensure ventilation in the upper right lobe, a region associated with vulnerability when neglected. Western science would frame this as full lung recruitment for balanced ventilation. Common mistakes should be avoided. Do not thrust the abdomen forward with force. That destabilizes the lumbar spine and disconnects the rib mechanics. Do not raise the shoulders. That engages accessory muscles and signals effort to the nervous system. Do not inhale in jerks. That creates uneven pressure and noisy afferent signaling. Instead, seek a continuous, quiet wave. If you remember nothing else, remember the principle of smoothness. The complete breath also establishes rhythm. Inhalation and exhalation lengths can be balanced or slightly weighted toward the exhale. A longer, unforced exhale enhances vagal activity through baroreflex timing. For practical use, a simple cadence such as 5 counts in and 7 counts out, performed without air hunger, achieves this effect in many. The exact number is less important than the feel of ease. Yogi science warns against strain. Western science confirms that strain elevates sympathetic drive and defeats the purpose. It will be noticed that this method is complete because it addresses mechanics, pressure, afferent signaling, and rhythm in one act. The ego quiets as the body receives proof of safety through coherent oscillation. This is not suggestion. It is physiology and prana converging in the same breath. Guided vagal toning practice and progression pattern interrupt brief challenge and invitation. For the next 90 seconds, test the mechanism, not the belief. You should feel a softening at the eyes and a quieter heartbeat by the end if the vagus is engaged. Adopt an erect but unforced posture. Rest the tongue on the palate. Unclench the jaw. Let the shoulders be heavy without rounding. Place one hand low on the abdomen and one hand on the side ribs. Inhale through the nose in a single smooth wave. First, feel the lower hand move as the diaphragm descends. Then feel the side hand widen as the ribs expand. Finish with a light upper chest lift without raising the shoulders. Pause a beat. Exhale slowly through the nose, drawing the abdomen in slightly as the diaphragm ascends. Let the ribs narrow. Allow the upper chest to settle without collapse. Take 3 cycles at an easy cadence. Now set a gentle rhythm. 5 counts in, 7 counts out. Keep the breath quiet. If you strain, shorten the counts and restore ease. After 3 rounds, insert the cleansing breath. Pucker the lips slightly and exhale in 3 soft pulses without puffing the cheeks. Resume nasal breathing. Progression 1. Extend the exhale to 9 counts if comfort remains. The longer, unforced exhale favors baroreflex timing. Avoid breath holding. Progression 2. Light ujjayi, narrow the glottis slightly to add gentle throat resistance. The sound should be barely audible, like a soft tide. This resistance stabilizes flow and heightens mechanoreceptor signaling without force. Progression 3. Box variation for focus. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold. But only if the holds feel calm. If any urge to gasp appears, drop the holds and return to 5 to 7. Placement cues. Eyes soften. Gaze turns inward. Place attention at the base of the throat on exhale and at the low abdomen on inhale. This keeps the wave coordinated. If the shoulders or neck tense, stop, shrug, and release, then resume. Reflection callback. Notice the shift. Pause. Scan the face and throat. If the jaw is looser and the heartbeat feels slower yet steady, parasympathetic influence is present. Yogi science would call it prana evenly distributed. Western physiology would call it baroreflex-driven respiratory sinus arrhythmia. For daily use, practice 5 minutes, twice per day. Stressful days. 1 breath, then cycles. Build patterns. Once you nail the smoothness, everything else clicks. Evidence checkpoints and limitations. It will be noticed that the quick wins are tangible. Calmer affect, slower yet stable pulse, warmer hands, improved digestive comfort. These align with increased parasympathetic influence and coherent respiratory sinus arrhythmia. However, heart rate variability metrics require proper devices and context. Acute practice can calm you. Chronic benefits depend on regularity, sleep, and overall health. Individuals with respiratory or cardiovascular conditions should adapt cadence and avoid prolonged holds. Ease is the guide. Discomfort is the stop signal. Conclusion. If you remember nothing else, remember this. 1 smooth, complete breath couples the diaphragm, the baroreflex, and prana into a single calming circuit. Subscribe for the advanced session where we layer mantra and paste exhale for deeper vagal tone, or watch the prior prana and nervous system episodes to consolidate foundations. Until next time, keep breathing.